Clase. Espero que todos estén bien. Nuestro tema de hoy es Indirect Object Pronouns, los pronombres de complemento indirecto. El complemento indirecto recibe el beneficio de la acción. The indirect object receives the benefit of the action. Para identificar el complemento indirecto, hacemos la pregunta ¿para quién o por quién? To identify the indirect object, we can ask the questions for who or for whom. Por ejemplo, yo hago ceviche para mi familia. ¿Para quién? So, I make ceviche for my family. For whom do I make this delicious ceviche? Para mi familia. Entonces, familia es mi complemento indirecto. So, my indirect object is familia because my family is receiving the benefit of me making this delicioso ceviche. Let's look at this example. She buys the apples for Juan. I have a subject, I have a verb, and now I need to ask the question, for whom does she buy the apples? Clase, ¿cuál es la respuesta? For Juan, correcto. So Juan is in this case my indirect object. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for an indirect object pronoun that replaces the name Juan. Because remember, we use pronouns in order to avoid repetition. So if from context, I know already that I'm speaking about Juan, that Juan is receiving the benefit of she buying the apples, then I can say, instead of the name Juan, I can say him. So I have a subject, I have my verb, and if I look at my chart of indirect object pronouns, I can replace Juan for him. So now let's look at the equivalent en español. This is my indirect object pronoun y en español I will say, ella compra las manzanas para Juan. Pregunta, ¿para quién compra las manzanas? Para Juan. So Juan is my indirect object. Again, I'm going to replace Juan with a pronoun. So I need to look at my chart and identify, oh, for him is le. So my new sentence is going to be, ella le compra las manzanas. Notice the placement of the indirect object pronoun. I have my subject, I have my verb, and right in front of the verb, I have my indirect object pronoun. So now, let's repeat the indirect object pronouns. Vamos a practicar la pronunciación. Me, te, le, nos, os, les. Por favor, recordar that the IOP placement can vary. You have two options. What we just saw is ella le compra las manzanas, where you place the indirect object pronoun right in front of the verb. This is the standard, this is the most common way to do it. However, if you encounter that there is a verb in the infinitive form, remember a verb in the infinitive form has the endings in AR, ER, or IR, then the placement can vary. Por ejemplo, ella es mi sujeto, va es el verbo principal. This is the main verb. And then I find right here comprar. Comprar is a verb in the infinitive form. I know that because it has the ending with AR. So what I do is I attach my indirect object pronoun right after the verb comprar. I need to attach it at the end. Vamos a hacer una práctica muy rápidamente. Remember, my IOPs, my indirect object pronouns are me, te, le, nos, os, les. Y mi estructura, the main structure that you are going to use in order to set up your sentences in español using an IOP is where you place the IOP right in front of the verb. Ejemplo, ella escoge las manzanas para su hermana. She chooses the apples for her sister. Ella le escoge las manzanas. So I have chosen le in order to replace su hermana. Let's try together. Letra A. Yo preparé la comida para mi familia anoche. Clase. What indirect object pronoun can you use from this chart in order to replace mi familia? You use le. Es correcto. So now your new sentence using this structure, subject, your IOP followed by the verb is this one. Yo le preparé la comida anoche, where le is replacing mi familia. Let's look at the second example. Mis padres pidieron la pizza para mí. So who receives the benefit of the action in this case? Yes, it is me. So the IOP that I'm going to use now to replace para mí is me. My new sentence following this structure, subject, IOP, and then the verb is mis padres me pidieron la pizza.